Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Who's Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ighodaro.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Blackwood. What up, what up, what up, what up? Let's go.
Thank you, all you guys out there, for supporting us, man. Continue to keep getting on that website.
Yes.
Reading those articles.
Yes.
Booking us live so we can, we're just a vibe when we come to your event, man. You know, follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Shout out to the distant cousins.
Distant emoji fingers, man. Y'all in Vegas right now.
Tidal League, let's go.
I'm trying to go to Vegas next time.
I know, right? Next summer, we're in there.
Come on now.
We're in there next summer.
Come on.
Hip hop turns 50.
50?
Yes.
Yes.
The introduction to hip hop. You know, you're from Finch.
Yeah.
Jaden Finch. You're from Finch, right?
I'm from Finch.
Okay.
But you know what?
I know you live at Shepherd.
Yeah, you know what?
Right.
Yeah. I'm holding down the Jaden Shepherd. And shout out Shay, you know what I mean? Chris. Alexander, he came through, you know what I mean? Yeah. His dad always come to the Jaden Shepherd ends. Yeah. He came through and just... We
ain't talking about basketball
I'm just saying, I had to shout him out.
Hip-hop.
I had to shout him out. But
hip-hop turns 50.
In the 90s, I was the Scarborough man. You know
you're from Scarborough?
90 Morning View Trail. You know what it is. I was the first one to live in that house, you know. Anybody living there now, you already know.
You're a Scarborough youth?
I was a Scarborough youth originally.
Shooting star?
All my family.
You're a shooting star?
A good chunk of my family, you know, Gilder representing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but then moved back to the West. You know, from when I moved back to the West, I would say grade 6.
Right.
Grade 6 and on, I was been in the West, and then I would say grade 8 and up was Jaden Finch.
So Jaden Finch, legendary area, a lot of talent.
Whole lot of talent.
A lot of amazing artists, Pressa, all those guys, Robin Banks, the list goes on. The list goes on.
Corey Fila.
Corey Fila.
Man.
Who else?
Papa Corleone.
Who else?
Man.
Was the late great, was he from there?
Which one?
Houdini?
Houdini. He had Finch ties.
Okay.
He had Finch ties, you know what I mean? Like real Finch ties.
Yes. There's so many artists.
There's so many, man. Who else?
Finch is such a talented area.
Jet Black. There was a lot,
So
man.
my question to you...
C4. Don't get me started. Don't get me... You're letting it go right now.
No,
we can save it for another day, though.
No, we will.
Yeah,
we definitely will.
real.
But the introduction to hip-hop for you in Finch, what was the artist? What was the vibe for you in Finch
Harlem
when you were
World.
coming up?
For me?
Yes.
Well, for me personally, it was Mace, Harlem World. You know what I mean? And this was kind of before. This was like a year before I moved to Finch.
Right.
But like Mace was the guy for me, man.
Mace.
Like, you know, yeah,
Were you
everybody
doing that
knew
dance?
Everybody knew about Biggie.
You doing that dance?
Biggie and Bad Boy and all that. And I was just getting introduced to it. So learning what I'm knowing, and then boom, Mace just came out of nowhere. I remember Mace on the hook of Horse and Carriage with Cameron.
Right.
And then Harlem World came out, and I was a fan. You know, I would say he introduced me to the game.
Horse and Carriage was crazy.
Horse and Carriage was nuts, even though that was a killer Cam track.
I can't believe they haven't. It was the first time they performed that song in New York a few months ago.
I remember that.
That was wild, right?
That was wild.
I'm like,
you know
this song is like one of their best songs.
Hey, I remember Cameron just saying that they're dropping a project. I don't know if it's maybe a mixtape.
Yes.
But Murder Mace is back.
He did say that.
He did say that,
yes.
right? So I'm looking forward to that.
Who else?
24 Hours to Live, though, man. Like, the Locks was on there, bro. Like,
yes.
Busta was on there, bro. Like, there were so many guys on Mace. I tried to put I didn't know the remedy for waves.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a whole lot of Vaseline.
I think a lot of people follow that wave.
I try to get on that wave, man. No pun intended.
You had them when you were young.
They came later, though. You know what I mean? At the beginning, in 97, it was just, we call them roly-polies. I thought the roly-polies were raised, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely my introduction, with me understanding like lyrics and all that, yeah, it was definitely Mace. And then moving to Finch now.
What was the vibe? What was the vibe in Finch?
Southside Jaden Finch, I could really talk about, man.
What was the vibe in Southside Jaden Finch?
Man,
who were they rocking with?
As Hoopers, we were Busta and Flip Mode, Pastor Troy.
Right.
Shout out Denham Brown, bro. Denham Brown used to put us on some...
Pastor Troy's dangerous.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would say Outkast, obviously Jigga, Jay-Z. Who else was there, man?
Jay-Z had a lot of you Finch guys wearing those Yankee hats.
Oh, he did. He did. You know what I mean? Shout
DMX.
Shout out Yinka. Shout out Buggy. Shout out obviously B-Man.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Coach.
Yes.
You know, those guys were they put me on a lot. Like they were showing me the ropes because I was still fairly new to the hip hop scene like that. You know, but then after, you know, when G Unit came, I felt like
that's my next question for you. What was that song that made you fall in love with hip hop? Or what was the artist? Not the song. What was the artist that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Oh man, there's so many. But
give me that one artist. I'll be like, you know, hip hop is. I love it. This is my thing right here.
I would have to say, you know what? No, I have to go back to Mace, man. Like when he had what was the track? Well, it was 24 Hours to Live, man. If I had 24 hours to live, just think. Where would you go? What would I do? Who would I? Yo, that track right there. And I believe DMX was on there, Jada was on there.
A lot of guys.
Mace was on there. That was like when the video came out, you know what I mean? They're busting out of the jail bus.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just
crazy video too.
Yeah, it was
crazy video.
It was a dope video. That right there kind of like I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was the introduction for me.
Right.
Imprinted in my head, and then, like I said, when 50 came, bro.
When 50 came over, which is it took
over. It was
a
done deal because now I'm transitioning. I'm already in post-secondary now, and yeah, you know, hooping, and I believe I was at Champlain College, Champlain in Lennoxville. So when 50 came out,
when 50 came out. It was like
90. It was like 99. It was like I was still in high school.
But do you know what I compare that to?
I'm talking about when Get Rich or Die Trying.
Do you know what I compare 50 to? I compare 50 when he came out almost like when LeBron came out, like the hype. Yeah. Because 50 was killing with those mixtapes.
He changed the whole mixtape game.
Yes, he changed the mixtape game. So when he came out with the mixtapes, and then he had his project drop, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yep.
It was like something like we've never seen before.
Nothing.
Like no artist, I believe, had that impact and the anticipation for like 50's coming.
Right.
Like everybody knew it. We seen old videos of Hove talking to his artists. Like, listen, drop everything y'all can now because that boy 50's coming.
Right.
And when he's coming, it's over for everybody.
And just the
backstory. He knew it.
And just the backstory behind all
What's
that.
What's the backstory? Let's talk about the backstory.
The fights, the beefing with real street legends.
He was a street guy.
You know what I mean? Him being a street guy as well, obviously, but like that catching up to him.
Right.
And that whole adversity and being blackballed and going at Ja Rule and Murder Inc. when they were on top.
Yes.
At one point, Murder Inc.
Did you see the new Ja Rule thing when he said that 50 hit him with like, yo, listen, you know, I just go with it. Like I'm just. You know, I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, you think that was cap off on Ja Rule?
There has to be some truth in it. Maybe, but I'm a 50 guy. So it's like, I ain't believing it. You know what I mean? I was watching Yayo on Drink Champs. You feel me? Shout out Matt Hoffa though. That
was dope though.
Both interviews were solid. You know what I mean? But
because he let us know. Because one of my favorite 50 songs was Many Men.
Right.
That was I think that's like one of the illest hooks. Ever. The video is dope. The song is amazing. Beat, everything is crazy.
Right.
Like if I'm gonna give a scale, that's a 10 for me. That's a 10. One of my favorite 50 songs ever.
Right.
So for him to say that song, they didn't like it and it barely made the cut, I was like, what?
That is crazy.
That song?
That song right there.
50 didn't like that song?
Maybe it brought back, you know, too much memories. Who knows? But for me, patiently waiting, man. I was so happy.
Patiently waiting.
You know what I mean? Well, that's what Lloyd Banks and M.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those tracks right there, that stood out to me. And it still resonates with me because I'm still patiently waiting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anybody that knows me, I've been hustling forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Some would say you're not hustling smart, you're hustling hard, but not smart. So be it. You know what I mean? Patiently waiting to
Yeah.
To explode. Pause.
Right.
You know what I mean? And hopefully one of the hopefully one of these moves are gonna make it. But
it will.
That song right there.
Right.
One of my favorite.
Where were you
songs.
exactly when you first heard that song?
It was I believe that came out 03.
I'm not sure.
I believe Get Rich or Die Trying dropped in 2002, 2003.
Yes.
I was at Champlain Lennoxville, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still, figuring it out, like, what's the next move for ball? Like, I didn't really have a plan. I had a plan, but I didn't have a plan. I found myself in CJEP, and I'm in the weight room, bro. I went to I remember going from the library to the weight room. In the library, I bought Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
And back then, we had the CD players.
CDs,
so I'm bumping it while I'm in the weight room, man. And that was
those were the days,
when I heard
man.
I think it was the second track. Because I think What Up, Blood.
Yes.
That was the first one. And then the second track was Patiently Waiting. When I heard that, I had that on repeat for at least an hour.
We're going to get back into it.
When I was walking back from the weight room to my dorm, that's when I heard Many Men and the Rest. And I was like, yo, this is a classic right here.
You know what? We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about, part 2, part 3, whatever. We're going to talk about the top 10 albums of all time. We're going to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be dope because I believe 50 is up there. At least top 5 albums of all time.
Definitely.
I ain't no hater, guys.
Definitely.
I speak the truth. I'm saying it didn't, part 2 and part 3, the albums, didn't go so well, but that album was one of the dopest albums I've heard.
Thank you. Well, I'm saying thank you, like I say, but yeah,
like he did the album.
We here, man. 50 coming to man. You already know what it is.
He said thank you, like he did it.
But real talk. I was just listening because right now, like the big topic right now is, thanks to Tony Yayo and DJ Effin from the Drink Champs.
Yes.
About Ice Cube and Biggie, who was better. You know what I mean?
We'll get into that another
We'll get
time.
into that after. But Consequence said something along the lines of, he was talking to DJ Self, and he said, whenever you're talking about hip-hop's like the only genre where hip-hop starts when you start. You know what I mean? So I was just like, ooh, that resonated so well. Because I can say I pretty much started in like 97, 96, 97.
Right.
But when I look at my peers, like yourself and B-Man and the Buggies and the Solomons of the world, guys that used to show me the ropes about hip-hop, like these guys were the twins, Dex, Nigel, them, rest in peace. Like,
rest in peace.
You know what I mean? Those guys historians.
You
know what I mean? They started way earlier. You know what I mean? So shout out Consequence. I thought that was a dope ass line.
And
it starts when you start.
He's actually very dope as far as an artist, and his pen game is ill.
For sure.
Pen game is
ill. You know what I mean?
I wanna say hip hop started for me Western Road and Black Creek, man. I'm not from. I grew up in Malton, 14, 15 years old, but I'm a Western Road and Black Creek guy. Humber Boulevard, 115 Humber Boulevard.
Shout out all my guys from 121.
Yeah.
Humber Boulevard.
121
you know what it
Humber
is, man.
Boulevard. Shout out to all my guys out there, B-Man. We got Swagger, of course, Rough Puff. We got, Finesse, Rux, Brent, God rest his soul. A lot of different guys that I grew up with out there. And it's crazy. Drano, I gotta shout out Drano, his brother B-Man. I gotta shout out. There's so many guys I gotta shout out, man. Menace, rest in peace. We love you and miss you for sure. But that block raised me. Like hip hop was like, I loved it so much. Like all the guys, like, that I grew up idolizing, were some of the locals.
Right.
Rest in peace, Dread. That was one of the guys that I grew up with, man. He showed me so much about hip hop. He put me on a lot of guys. The first album with Jay Reasonable Doubt. My introduction though, it gotta be either between LL Cool J, Boom and System.
LL.
Yes.
Definitely a pillar in the game, man.
Drive Right By with the Boom and System. That was, listen, if you haven't heard it, just check it out. It's crazy. And then Scenario, Busta Rhymes, man. Leaders of the New School. It's crazy though, because we always talk about.
Can you show Busta a little bit more love?
No,
now?
I always showed Busta love. That's the thing that you guys don't understand. You think that it's an insult because I say a guy who has 14 number one albums is just better. It's crazy. Like Jay-Z has so like I'm not saying friggin', Dinko D or somebody from Leaders of the New School is better. Right. Q-Tip. I'm like, Jay-Z's better. And you guys are like, come on, like I'm not saying something crazy here. But Leaders of the New School, Busta Rhymes, Heal Up, Wheel Up, Bring It Back, Come Rewind, okay. Powerful Impact, boom from the cat, like, bruh. When I heard that, and I heard LL, fell in love with it, man. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
Like, I wanted to rap. I wanted to be an artist.
So I remember you telling me back in the day, it was hooping and rapping for you for real.
It was.
Like you really took this rap.
I just grew. I literally wanted to be a rapper. That's what I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to be a rapper. That was something that I wanted to do. Like, I studied rap. LL Cool J, Busta, Jay-Z, when Wu-Tang came out. Just I listened to everything too. From Goody Mob, Outkast, all those guys. It just wasn't East Coast. It wasn't just West Coast. Love Snoop's first album when it dropped. Mm-hmm. I think that's another top 10 album for sure too. But
Doggy Style? Was it Doggy Style?
Yes. Yeah. And I loved everything about hip hop. Like, I literally wanted to be a hip hop artist. I used to take pictures with my sister, like, posing in the hood. Like, we were like doing album covers, like that. I loved everything about hip hop when I first heard it, man. I thought it was just genius. Like, these guys are geniuses to be able to come up with songs, to be able to story tell in their music, make things make sense. Like, that art is crazy.
Right.
And I loved everything about it, man. And when I first heard Busta from with Scenario and I heard LL Cool J, that was my introduction to hip hop. And I definitely, just growing up in the hood, you know how it is, man. You're from Finch, Western Road and Black Creek. It was either or, man. It was either
rapping.
You either was playing basketball in the court or you was rapping, and those were our outlets to get out. And that's why people took it serious. It was a lot harder back then as far as
both.
Hip. Actually, absolutely, you're right. You're right. Because when I was talking about, I'm going to the States, and I tell my friends I'm going to the States, when I actually fell in love with basketball, because I didn't start falling in love with basketball probably grade 7, grade 8. That's when I fell in love with it. But I would tell some of my friends, like, yo, I'm gonna go to the States to play basketball. They're like, yeah, right. That's impossible. So, it was funny, but it was tough. Like you said, it was very hard back then to be able to do that with rapping and basketball.
Right.
But we loved both so much. And I definitely didn't start, I kind of drifted away from it. I still listened to it, but when I started getting past 6 foot, I kind of felt like basketball's probably the better, thing for me to do. But the impact that had in my life, we all wanted to be hip hop artists, like the way we dressed, the way we talked. Like, I love. That's where my addiction for sneakers came from.
Facts.
Like the fashion. Like, hip hop is so much more than just the words.
Button ups, the
button ups, the Timberlands,
jeans,
the jeans, the way we wore our jeans, like the way we wore our hats.
The starter kits were real. Every year.
Yes.
Every year, the starter kit.
Listen,
evolved.
I had that red UNLV starter jacket that Tupac had in Juice. I had it.
Right.
Like, I wore it like till the thing was just like not red anymore. Like,
it was like pink.
It was not even pink. It turned brown. Like, it was like I like hip hop. The impact that it had in all of us, man. I think it was tremendous. It just goes to show you like what hip hop could do. It opened up so much doors for us. But I definitely believe, as far as the impact in my neighborhood, everybody wanted to be a rapper. Like, everybody. It was crazy. Like, everybody was over there humming, doing their own verses. We'd have little freestyle Fridays over there in the neighborhood, and we just come together and just rap. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to hip hop. Busta Rhymes and LL, and the impact that it had in my neighborhood. What was the impact for you in your neighborhood?
For me, it was dope to see, because like I'm around man's like Dream Warriors coming down to Palisades, like, you know what I mean? And they're from Connections, like, you know what I mean?
I want you to say that,
right? Obviously, I remember Snow coming down. I remember KRS-One coming down, like obviously Beanie Man, like even though it's reggae, but you know, so many artists would come down to Finch, North Side, South Side, or even in the middle by Palisades. And then the homegrown folks, like I remember, crazy story. I'm at a summer camp in Driftwood Community Center, and back then Luther Brown, the big time choreographer, like big time. You know, he was a camp counselor. Julie Black was a camp counselor. Legendary Julie Black.
Shout out Julie Black.
So I'm at the summer camp. And I see all the Driftwood running rebels. I'm talking about Dougie. I'm talking about my man Kuma, Joey Palmer,
shout out Joey.
Big Bird, Jeffrey. Yes, like you know what I mean?
Big Bird.
Some locals like Fred and KK, and there's a bunch of them. And I'm chilling, like I'm at a variety camp, so it's like they're playing a little bit of everything. But like everybody can see that I can hoop.
Right.
They're like, yo, you should just stay in the gym. Right? My confidence getting up. Meanwhile, Julie Black and them are doing pure choreography dancing. Yes. And back then I didn't know what the heck choreography dancing was like. It's just a structured dancing, but it looked funny. Because you've seen guys doing it and girls doing it. I'm like, there's no bubbling, nothing. What are you guys doing? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm walking in like, man, them are accepting me a bit. In my head, I feel like they're accepting me because I made the Driftwood Running Rebel squad, probably like the 13th man on the bench.
Yeah.
But I was on the squad running with them. And I remember one time I just feeling myself. I just walked in. I walked into the dance studio. I think it was room 1. But that's where they're doing the dance studio. And Julie Black was like full-fledged sweating.
Going crazy. She's tough.
Boom now.
She's tough.
I must have said something disrespectful. I don't remember what I said.
Really?
I do not remember what I said. But Miss Julie Black humbled me real quick. And it scarred me to this day. You know what I mean? Because anytime I see her, like, you know, it's
she's
all
still
love.
relevant. And that's what my next thing I want to talk about.
You know what I mean? I remember she said something along the lines of, you know, you're lucky you could play basketball because with them lips, you're not getting no girls. Or she said something that I said. I know I did something.
Miss Julie Black? Why?
I know I did something crazy.
You scarred my partner for life with that?
For life.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Thank God big lips are in now. You know what I mean? But anyhow, you know, it was like, yo, to this day, anytime I see her, you know, she shows me love now, like, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad does she remember that?
I don't think she'll remember that. You know what I mean? But
let's send this to her so she can watch it.
You never know, like, you know.
We need an apology.
Yeah, she got me. She got me good. But I probably, but you know, staff back then, you know, they were young.
Yeah.
And if little kids get out of pocket, you get put back into. Yeah. So that was probably her way of like humbling me, which it did. You know what I mean? Because I always used to walk into the place like this. Yeah, real talk. But I say that to say that was hip hop, though.
Yeah,
there were so many avenues from dancing to the actual, from basketball to the cookouts, barbecue, the arts, the graffiti on the wall,
the dressing,
and Finch had it all, man. And everybody, I didn't even know how big Finch was back then because they're younger. But so many folks. What was his name? Master T from Extended Mix.
Master T, yes,
used to come through.
He was the original guy on TV.
You feel me? Like
one of the first black guys I used to see on TV.
Right?
Yeah.
There was so much smugglers.
Oh, you know what's crazy?
Smugglers
with Master
up top?
T?
Yeah.
Master T can say this, but no one else can say. He has the last interview of Tupac.
Look at that.
He was the one who did the last interview.
Suge Knight. Yeah.
That was Tupac's last interview. Master T. Shout out Master T. His son plays ball too, man.
Legend.
Yeah. He's a legend.
And then Maestro Fresh West, you know how that goes. Like, you know, I have my clothing line Grand Slammers. We lined him up with some Grand Slammer gear, and he actually wore it in a video. I gotta find the video, man. But it was one of his latest tracks, man. He did his damn thing. We put Maestro at the back.
We got to get him on the show.
Got to get him on the show because he's definitely legendary to this. But that was Finch for me, man. I seen like hip hop is Jaden Finch for me. Like, you know what I mean? Because to this day, you see so many artists coming out.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
facts.
So yeah, man.
You know what's crazy that I love that I like. Sorry to cut you off. what I love about the artist that we're talking about, the Mace 50s, the Bustas,
right?
LLs, they're still relevant. We're talking about
Pillars.
20 years.
Pillars.
Like 50 Cent, he may not be dropping no tough music, but
stop it.
He's still doing everything with the shows.
Listen, the Power theme song alone.
He tried to finesse us.
Don't worry,
Trey. He tried to switch it up.
We love you, Trey. That ain't it.
He's trying to throw music in our ears. Like we know what you're trying to do, 50.
That Power.
We ain't go for that.
I went for it. Classic.
We ain't going for that. 50 think he's slick, trying to feed us. He knew we were going to listen to it no other way. We'll watch it for that 15 seconds before the show came on. He think he's slick. Anyways, but for him to be able to pivot and be in the game still, we're talking about 90s, and he's still relevant.
LL, Fat Joe, Busta.
Just got his Lifetime Achievement Award.
He
just dropped a new song that's dope. Jay-Z still relevant.
These guys are still actively relevant.
My question to you is how does one stay relevant? Like we're talking about Mace. Mace is still relevant now. Like him and Cameron.
And they just opened a whole new lane because they know sports.
They know sports. They played sports.
Yes. You know what I mean? And they're celebrities.
Yes.
So they got the insight. They're gonna be a problem. Fam.
No, they're definitely
if not already.
Their show's still booming. Their show's booming.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. But how were these guys able to stay relevant for so long?
Their pivot game is real, fam.
How?
They just adapted with the times, man. You know what I mean? And some people just got it like that, fam. They age gracefully. You know what I mean?
Because May still looks young. Cameron, they still look young.
You feel me? They're just with the times. They just adapt. They adapt with
we're talking about Busta Rhymes with Scenario that I told you I got introduced when I was a kid.
And he has a new track right now with
he has a new track.
And it's bumping.
When he dropped Scenario, he was only 17.
Look at that.
He was only 17 years old when he dropped Scenario.
You feel me?
Got kicked out of the group, Leaders of the New School, and was scared to do a thing on his own because he wasn't used to it when he broke it down. I don't know if you've seen his speech, but that's what he was saying during his speech. But then when he used to sneak in the studio and he would drop all this music, and then when he started finally seeing checks, he was like, why these checks look nice, then only coming to one instead of dividing it by 4.
Right.
It's only coming to me.
Facts.
So why the check look nice?
Come on, man.
So it's just amazing. Man. We're talking about 17 years old till now.
Right.
How old is he? 50?
Probably close to 50.
You get what I'm saying?
And a bag of kids, yo.
And he had all of them there.
That was dope.
Except one.
That was dope to see.
But to be able to still be relevant, he hasn't done anything but drop music.
That's it.
Like he has the new song with Bia you just said now, which is crazy. The video's nuts. And you know what I love about Busta? He's still with Spliff Star.
Loyalty, fam. Shout out Spliff Star.
Still with Spliff Star.
Spliff Star, Tony Yayo. Loyalty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't worry, man. I'll be your Tony Yayo, man. Don't worry, B. I got you.
I appreciate you, brother.
I
appreciate you. Listen, man, that was the introduction, man.
That's it.
The hip hop for me.
You know what I mean?
You want to take us out, brother?
Hey, just continue to follow us, man. Follow us on our website, book us, check us out on IG, all our social media platforms, YouTube, like, share, comment. You know what I mean? Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Don't forget to subscribe, man. All you have to do is press that button.
That's it.
Follow. Simple things. Yo, Tidal League. You already know. Vegas. I want to roll next summer. We're in there.
Emoji
fingers. You already know, man. We out.